Okay, now we're on 12.2, arithmetic sequences. All right, find the next term of each sequence. Well, to go from the first term to the second term, I would add 5. From 7 to 12, yep, 5 again. 12 to 17, yep, 5 again. So this is an arithmetic sequence, which means my next term, I just add 5. So my next term is going to be 22. All right, now here I'm actually subtracting 3, and again, and again. So if I subtract another 3, my next term is going to be negative 12. And here, this next one, it looks like I'm adding 1/2. Etc. So 4.5 plus 0.5 is going to give us 5, would be my next term in the sequence. All right, a recursive formula for an arithmetic sequence will always look like this. It's a sub n is equal to the previous term plus some common difference. In order to be an arithmetic sequence, you must have the exact same difference each time you're adding the exact same number. And I must specify a sub 1. All right, so determine whether the sequence is arithmetic and then find D. And so we look at these differences and I see a plus 3, yep, plus 3 all the way along. So yes, whoa. Yes, and D is equal to positive 3. Here I went minus 6, plus 6, minus 6. No. I'm adding and I'm adding or subtracting. So that right there says no. So no D. All right. Now, this is our explicit formula, so we can find a term regardless of whether or not we know the previous term. So it's going to be, the formula is a sub 1, so it's our first term plus n minus 1 d's. Okay, d being our common difference. This one, you notice you don't have to specify anything else. All right, so write both a recursive and a simplified explicit form for the arithmetic sequence 2, 7, 12, 17. Well, I can see that I'm adding 5 each time. So I've got plus 5 each time. So if I take the first term and I subtract the second, now I know it's arithmetic because it was specified to be. So 7 minus 2 is 5, that's my D. My first term is a sub 1. So my recursive formula is going to be a sub n is equal to a sub n minus 1 plus the common D. And I also have to specify a sub 1. Now for an explicit formula, remember I had a formula for that. So I have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times n minus 1 plus n minus 1 times D. Now I have to simplify this. To simplify it, I'm going to have to distribute this 5n, and I get 2 plus 5n minus 5. So that is 5n. 2 minus 5 was minus 3. So that's how I got this explicit formula, simplified explicit formula. Now, we also have a generalized explicit formula. This is for two different terms, the nth term and the kth term. If I have two terms and their term numbers, I can figure out the sequence. Okay, so this is often used when you only have two terms. Okay. So, write an explicit formula for an arithmetic sequence where a sub 3 is 11 and a sub 7 is 23. So my n is going to be 3 and my k is the 7. Now I use the given formula. Okay. And I have a sub n is equal to a sub k. Oh, I see what's different here. It's easier if I make my n the larger number. So n is 7 and k is 3. Because then when I do the n minus k, I get a large number. All right, so I have this term. Right, so then I'm going to write, I have to find d is what I have to find. So I plug in the formula. A sub n is 23 equals a sub k, which is 11, plus n is 7 minus k, which is 3, d. Now I solve this for d. So I subtract 11. That's going to give me 12 equals 7 minus 3 is 4d. Divide by 4. I'm going to get that d is 3. So now I take that over here. I plug it in again using either k or n, whichever I want. Let me use k. So a sub n is equal to a sub 3, which was 11, right? N minus 3, because it's a sub 3, times 3. So this becomes a sub n equals 11 plus n minus 3 to the 3, not to the 3, times 3. All right, so I'm going to distribute the n end, and I get 11 plus 3n minus 9. Well, 11 minus 9 is 3. No, it isn't. It's 2. Sorry. 2 plus 3n. That's my explicit formula. But notice I also had to find d. All right, the terms between two given terms of an arithmetic sequence are called arithmetic means. Finding a single arithmetic mean between two numbers is the same as finding the average of the numbers. Okay, but finding more than one mean. So if I have two numbers, okay, let's say I tell you I have 8 and 24, and you have to find two arithmetic means. Well, what I know, if I call this one a sub 1, my two arithmetic means have to come between them, so they become a sub 2 and a sub 3, and 24 is my a sub 4. All right, so now I have to figure out, I can find the formula for the arithmetic sequence here and give you what a sub 2 and a sub 3 are. Those would be the two arithmetic means between 8 and 24. All right, find three arithmetic means between 7 and 15. So 7 becomes my a sub 1 and 15 becomes my a sub 2. So we do our formula. Okay, so the higher number is n. So n is 5, and my k term is going to be the 1. So I have a sub 5 is equal to a sub 3 plus 5 minus 3d. I know that a sub 5 is 15. It's equal to 7 plus 5 minus 3 is 2d. Subtract the 7. 8 equals 2d. Divide by 2. That was supposed to be a 2. And I get that d is 4. I'm sorry, I just realized I had to pause for a minute and figure out what I had done wrong. All right. Not supposed to be a sub 3, it's a sub 1. So those are all supposed to be 1s. So it's a sub 1, because k was 1, right? 5 minus 1. So now it's not 2. I still subtract the 7 and get 8, but now 5 minus 1 is 4. I have 4. And when I divide both sides by 4, 8 divided by 4 is not 4, it's 2. There we go. That's what it was supposed to be. I apologize. That's why I have a 2 right there. So a sub 2 is a sub 1, which was 7, plus 2. So my first arithmetic mean would be 9. And then 9 plus 2 is 11, my second arithmetic mean. And 11 plus 2 is 13. Notice I add 2 again, and I'm to a sub 5, which is 15. So these would be my 3 arithmetic means between 7 and 15. All right. Loriana started a 9-week program in preparation for a 5K race by running 3 times each week. She walked and jogged 5K in 45 minutes and has set a goal of reducing her time by 15 seconds during each successive training run. Write a recursive and an explicit formula. Well, it's the previous term minus 15 seconds. Well, we use a minus 0.25 because 15 seconds is 1/4 or 2.25 of a minute. All right. So now we have a sub n. A sub n is a sub n minus 1 minus the 0.25. I've decreased by 15 seconds. And a sub 1 is stated as 45 because that's what she started at. On the other hand, a sub n in an explicit formula, let's see, is going to be our first term, which was 45, plus n minus 1 times our common difference, which is negative 1/4 or 0.25. All right, so now if I multiply this, let's do 0.25. I'm trying to decide whether 1/4 is better or 0.25. We'll do 0.25. Okay, so I distribute, I get 45 plus 0.25 n. Not plus, that's a minus. I better erase that. So this is going to be a minus 0.25 n plus, because I have a minus times a minus, 0.25. So simplified, I have 45.25 minus 0.25 n. That's my explicit formula. All right, and we're at the end, and you can work on your homework.